How's it going, guys? Today we're going to talk about how you win at 40k without even rolling a single dice. Stay tuned. So yeah, quite often you'll hear people talk about how 40k is just like Yahtzee. You roll a heap of dice, the higher the numbers are is how you win. The fact is, you can actually get maximum points in this game without even needing to roll a single dice. How, do you ask? That's great. Let's talk about it. First of all, you got the primary missions. They have nothing to do with rolling dice whatsoever. They have to do with positioning and movement. You put a squad on an objective. You hold that one objective for the entire turn until the beginning of your next command phase. From turn 2 onwards, you'll get 5 points every single turn. That's it. Turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5 gives you 20 points. Pretty simple? Awesome. You do that in 2 objectives. Suddenly now, you've got 40 points for the entire game. 5 on turn 2, 5 more on turn 3, another 5 turn 4, another 5 on turn 5. So now the 2 lots of 2 objectives every turn, bang, 40 points. And furthermore, even if you're just holding those 2 objectives, if that's more than your opponent, you get another 5 points for turn 2, 3, 4 and 5. So you can actually max out on a whopping 60 points for the entire game. Just from having guys on objectives. Has nothing to do with killing things. You don't have to roll a single dice. That's all you need to do. Sit on the objectives. Hold more objectives than your opponent and hold at least 2 every turn. You'll get maximum 60 points. Where the dice rolling comes into it is when you have to roll the dice to then remove things off other objectives, or your opponent removes things off your objectives. So hypothetically, getting the dice rolling to remove things, that's different. But if in the perfect world, if you could get onto the objectives and not get shot off or killed off or close combated off, whatever, in the perfect world, you sit on those objectives the whole game, hold 2 objectives, hold more than your opponent, maximum for primary. Cool. So what about secondaries? Yes, some secondaries are going to be kill based. Some secondaries are not. So we'll go over secondaries now and we'll go in each individual category. Excellent. Alright, so when we look at Purge the Enemy, these ones do require you to roll dice because they're all destroy things. Assassinate, Bring It Down, Titan Slayers and Slay the Warlord are all dice rolling based ones. So guess what? We're not going to talk about them. Okay. No Mercy, No Respite. The second category. Thin their ranks. It involves killing opponents' models. We're not going to worry. Attrition involves killing opponents' models. We're not going to bother. While we stand, we fight. Now that's something we're going to talk about. The last one in the category is First Strike. That involves destroying an opponent's models. We're not going to talk about that. No Mercy, No Respite. While we stand, we fight. If you select this objective, then before the battle you must identify which 3 models in your army, excluding models with the fortifications battlefield roll, have the highest points value, and make a note of them on your army roster. If 2 or more models are tied, you can choose between them. If your army has 3 or fewer models, then you instead identify all the units in your army. You instead identify all the units in your army. A model's points cost includes the points of all weapons and war gear it is equipped with. You score 5 victory points for each of these models that are on the battlefield at the end of the battle. Cool. Alright, so why that is awesome? If you've got expensive characters that can be put behind things for the entire game and not be shot or engage in close combat, you'll get 5 points for each of them that are not dead. Also, you can keep really expensive models in reserve and bring them onto the table later in the game. Another thing is the units that have expensive models in their units. You basically pick a model in that unit, and then they have to kill the rest of that unit before they can kill that model. One of the ones that comes to mind is Castellan Robots. Another one that comes to mind is Centurion Devastators. Things like that. So with that one, you don't actually need to roll a single dice to score that point, or any of those points. So you can actually get 15 points for just having models staying alive. So while we stand, we fight. Alright, moving over to Battlefield Supremacy. We've got Engage on All Fronts. That is a positioning one. We will talk about that. Line Breaker. That is also a positioning one. We'll talk about that. Domination. That is also a positioning one. We will also talk about that. So Battlefield Supremacy, engage on all fronts. Score 2 victory points at the end of your turn if you have one or more models in your army wholly within 3 different table quarters. And those units are all more than 6 inches from the center of the battlefield. Score 3 victory points instead if you have one or more units from your whole army wholly within each table quarter, and those units are all more than 6 inches from the center of the battlefield. So this is a movement-based objective. All you need is a unit in each table quarter more than 6 inches from the middle, and you'll get maximum points. Even if you've just got 3 table quarters, you'll still get good points. It'll be 2. But that entire secondary does not need you to roll a single dice. Move into the quarter, you get the points. That's it. That's it. Line Breaker. Score 4 victory points at the end of your turn if 2 or more units from your army, excluding aircraft, are wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. So, all you need for that one, 2 of your units, opponent's deployment zone. You get 4 points. That's it. Positioning. Nothing to do with rolling dice. Domination. Score 3 victory points if you control more than half the total number of objective markers on the battlefield at the end of your turn. Again, positioning. If you're already trying to hold primary objectives by having men on them, that could be useful, because all you need to do is then hold, if it's 4 objectives, let's say, you need to hold 3. If there's 6 objectives, you need to hold 4. That needs nothing to do with rolling dice. Just sit on the objectives, boom, you've got the points. Our next category, Shadow Operations. Investigate sites, does not require rolling dice. Repair Teleport Homer, does not require rolling dice. Raise the banners high, does not require rolling dice. Investigate sites. Score 3 victory points each time a unit from your army successfully completes the following action. Investigate site. Action. 1 infantry unit, excluding characters from your army, can start to perform this action at the end of your movement phase. If it is within 6 inches of the center of the battlefield and no enemy units, excluding aircraft, are within 6 inches of the center of the battlefield, the action is completed at the end of your turn. There you go. Basically, you need to move into position, and then that unit does not roll any dice to shoot or assault in combat or anything like that. They just go, they do the thing, they forego all their shooting of dice and stuff. You get the point. Repair Teleport Homers. Score 5 victory points each time a unit from your army successfully completes the following action. Repair Teleport Homers. Action. 1 infantry unit from your army can start to perform this action at the end of your movement phase if it's wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. This action is completed at the end of your next command phase, provided that the unit attempting it is still wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. Again, do you need to roll a dice to do that? No. Raise the banners high. Progressive. End of game objective. If you select this objective, then units in your army can perform the following action. Raise banners. Action. 1 or more infantry units from your army can start to perform this action at the end of your movement phase. Each unit from your army that starts to perform this action must be in range of a different objective marker and does not have one of your banners raised upon it. A unit cannot start this action while there are enemy units, excluding aircraft, in range of the same objective marker. The action is completed at the end of your turn. If this action is successfully completed, that objective marker is said to have been one of your army's banners raised on it. The banner is removed if your opponent controls the objective marker at the start of any phase. You score 1 victory point at the end of each of your command phases and 1 victory point at the end of the battle for each objective marker on the battlefield that has one of your banners raised upon it. Again, forgo shooting, forgo melee, forgo psychic, all that stuff. You get to the end of your movement phase, you raise a banner. You then get points. No dice rolls required. Warpcraft, mental interrogation. You need to roll a psychic power. You need to roll dice, doesn't count. Psychic ritual. You need to roll a psychic power. Does not count, because you have to roll dice. Abhor the witch. You need to kill psychers. You need to roll dice. Does not count. That being said, with Abhor the witch, I do believe you still get the points if the psyker kills themselves with warp, harness the warping and stuff like that. If they roll a perils and they blow their heads off, then you'll get points. However, we're going to leave it out for now, just for that reason. So, what we've got is from No Mercy, No Respite, while we stand, we fight. Pick that one. First category. Second category, Battlefield Supremacy. None of which need you to roll dice for, so you can pick any of those three. You've got Engage on all fronts, Line Breaker, and Domination. Third category, so you need to pick from 3 categories for your secondary. So third category, Shadow Operations, Investigate Sites, Repair Teleport Homer, Raise the Banners. That's 7 secondaries over 3 different categories you can pick from to score objectives without rolling dice. So I then beg the question, is Warhammer 40,000 a game of luck? I'm going to say no. It's a game of tactics. Yes, you can get lucky, but at the end of the day, if you're not focusing on those primary objectives, especially the ones you don't need to kill with, yes, you can pick ones that you can kill with and still score, yes. But at the end of the day, you don't need to. You can literally play a game, not touch your dice, hypothetically, score maximum points. So I want you to think about that. And then let me know in the comments about what you think. Thank you for listening, and goodbye. Ciao.